Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Mark, a trainer here at WEX Field Service Management, and today we are covering suppliers and purchase orders. This webinar will cover setting up your suppliers, purchase order settings, setting up your supplier catalogs, creating job purchase orders, creating warehouse purchase orders, and purchase orders from the mobile app. We'll do a live Q&A at the end where you can get your questions answered live on stream. And without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into WEX FSM. The very first thing that we want to do to set up suppliers in the system is to first manage our suppliers. We're going to go to settings in the top right, purchase orders, and manage suppliers. From here, this is going to be where you can add your suppliers. A supplier is who you are purchasing your items from. These you are able to add manually. As you can see here, I have a lot of different suppliers. We purchase things from Ace Hardware, Anderson Supply, Daikin, Ferguson, Goodman, etc. I have also set up Mark's truck. So I made one that was the inventory that would be on my truck if I keep any parts that I would use for a job there. To create a supplier, you will add a new supplier right here. It says add new supplier. Click on that. And now we are building out the supplier. This is who we'll create a purchase order, and this is essentially who we will send that purchase order to so they can fulfill the order for us. So enter in a supplier name. For this, we will do Anderson Supply. If you have an account number with them, you can enter that here. Uh, Put the payment terms. So we'll go ahead and do net 60 for the payment terms. And then the supplier terms, these will auto-populate at the bottom of each purchase order. And so just as an example, I'll go ahead and copy and paste some terms into here. And when you're ready, click Next. Now, accounts. You may only have one account with this supplier. You may have multiple accounts with this supplier. A scenario would be maybe you have a catalog that you purchase from for your jobs, but then you have a separate account that you use just to purchase for the warehouse. And you can set up multiple accounts, as many as you need. So let's go ahead and click New. And for this first account, we'll name this our job account, meant for a catalog that will have items for our jobs. The account number, let's say, is 1004. The region you can put in, and then click the green plus button. So now we have a job account. I also order items that are not for jobs, and they will go directly to my warehouse. And so for that, I will add another. And let's name this warehouse account. And this is 1006. And add. So now I have my two accounts, and then I will click Next. Locations, this is the actual location that you would be purchasing from. Let's say this is called the Eastway store. And the address, I'll go ahead and copy and paste that from my notes here. There we go. Charlotte, North Carolina, and 28202. Cool. So now we have the address. We'll go ahead and click the check mark, and we have added the address. If you order from this supplier and they have multiple locations, you add as many locations as you need. And then when you're creating the purchase order, you can select the location that you want it to either be picked up from or delivered from. When you're done with the addresses, click next. Context. This part is very important. This is who is going to fulfill this order. So if I send in a purchase order, maybe it's going to a direct person, or maybe it's just going to like the parts counter, which is a general. But either way, you will want to have info in here for where this will be sent when you're ready to send this to the supplier. So we'll go ahead and add this. And for this, maybe there's not a specific person, so I can literally just put parts counter. And then whoever's working the parts counter that day will be the person who fulfills the order. So contact type, maybe this is counter staff. And then you can put in a phone number or email address. Let's put in the email address. Uh, let's do e@mail.com. There we go. And then, this parts counter will be the same contact info for any addresses, but if you have different contacts for different locations, this is where you can assign those from here. This is good to go. If you are sending it via a phone number, you can add that as well. All right. So now we have added Anderson Supply with two accounts, a job account and a warehouse account. And when you're ready, you will click Done. And here is Anderson Supply. We have all of our info. You can click in and make edits as you need to if things change over time. Then follow that process as many times as you need to add all of the suppliers you want available for when you are going to create your purchase orders in your system. Next, let's look at some purchase order settings. These are going to help you set your defaults, your preferences on how you would like purchase orders to work in your system. To do this, we will go to Settings, Purchase Orders, Purchase Order Settings. Anytime you see a little eye like this, you can hover and it will give you a little information. So here you can set up options and defaults for purchase orders. Warehouse purchase orders are not linked to a specific job. Job purchase orders are tied directly to a job. And delivery locations. This is saying, where do you want these items? If you're going to choose delivery on the purchase order, where do you want these delivered to? Maybe you just have one location and everything will be delivered there. Maybe you have multiple. So add any delivery locations. That way you can select where you would like items sent to when you create the purchase order. Jobs purchase orders default delivery to the jobs location. You can have it set, if you turn this on, you can have it set that the purchase order will automatically default on job purchase orders for the delivery location to be whatever location the job is. So that is personal preference. If this is set to no, then it will default to whatever you have defaulted here. If it's set to yes, then it'll default to the jobs location for job purchase orders. Delivery contact. Who works in your warehouse? Who is the contact the supplier can reach out to when they have a question or they need to talk to you? And then preferred delivery methods. Maybe for your jobs, you want them, next day air, ground shipping, something that's quicker. And then for your warehouse, maybe you set that to something that takes a little more time because that's fine for you. To add or edit any of these, there are red plus buttons at the top. You simply click on that red plus button to add items to each section. And then delivery date defaults, you can set your preferred defaults for how long you would like delivery to take. Think about it. This is all personal preference. And once you set the settings here, those will then apply on your purchase orders when you create them. The next setting that I recommend taking a look at before you start creating purchase orders is to manage your manufacturers. So we are going to go to settings, purchase orders, manage manufacturers. From here, this will be, this might be empty. If you've never filled this out before, it may say, example manufacturer here. You can always click the three red dots to edit and delete those if you want. But what this is saying is that these are the manufacturers of the parts that you would be purchasing when you're creating, well, this will come in handy when we're actually creating catalog items. So you will build out your supplier catalogs with the items that you are going to purchase when you make a purchase order, and you will need to select which manufacturer that item is. In order for you to have manufacturers to select from, you need to add those here. So you can click New to create a new manufacturer. You just enter in the brand name, say train, and click save. That will then save to your manufacturers list. And when I create an item for my supplier catalog, I'll be able to choose from this list to designate the manufacturer of the item I want to purchase. Next, let's take a look at now setting up your supplier catalog. So when you create a purchase order and you hit add item, it needs items to pull from. You'll need to know what items are available per supplier, and you will add those manually and kind of curate those supplier catalogs. To do this, you will go to more applications, parts catalog. From here, you'll need to select a supplier. So I do recommend doing everything in the order that we are doing it today, because if you don't have a supplier to select, you won't be able to move past this. So we already created our supplier. Let's go ahead and choose Anderson Supply. And which account do I want to create supplier catalog items for? Let's start with our jobs account. And then what location. This is for the Eastway store. Now, I have already set up some items, so you see that there are items here already. If this is your first time, adding this, there won't be any items in here, and you will need to start adding items. But like this is the place that you're going to build out your catalog. So you can hit the red plus button here to start creating an item. And that will look like this. For each item, you can add photos if you want. You can mark items as favorites. You can hide them from purchase orders if you want. And you can put in the part name, supplier number, manufacturer number, select the manufacturer. This would come from the list of manufacturers we created on the manufacturer page. Quantity is like how much is, if I purchased one of these items, does it come with, five? Does it come with just one? So you can essentially make a bundle of something, but it would be just upping the quantity. Maybe the thing you're purchasing is like a 5 pack. You would add the quantity here. So if you did that, this would say like there are five each. You can also update this to put in, 5 inches or fractions, 5 calendar days, $5. So there's different ways you can delineate like what the quantity represents. Put in the price, features, specifications. You can click the plus button to add any additional documentation that you would want to see here. And when you're done, click save. That will then save the item in your list. Something that is very important to know is that if you have a supplier catalog, but you don't have any items in it, it will not show up when you go to create your purchase order. You have to have at least one item in a supplier catalog in order for it to show up. If you, this is going to come in handy a little later, you can, so let's talk about this. Like, you can sit here and create your entire catalog. However, that takes time. So maybe you don't want to sit here and write out all 2,000 items that are in here, some of which you may not even order but once a year. Instead, you can build out your supplier catalog as you go. So you do a job, you need an item, you can, while you're making the purchase order, create the item in the moment, put the exact specifications because you're like literally looking at it, and then add it to your supplier catalog. That comes in really handy. That is a very popular method, is building it as you go. However, you need to have at least one item for that catalog to be available for you to do that. So I do recommend that you come in and at least add one item into here. That would be something you would want to purchase. I have, a filter. I have different parts in here, and each of these, I can see the separate prices. I can add them as favorites, all as quick actions from right here. So this is the list view. We have an image view if you prefer that. And we have a category view if you have any categories. This one doesn't have any, but you can make almost like folders and like organize all the items in this supplier catalog if you want to. All right. So this is our job account. So in this kind of scenario that we're doing, these are items that I would want to purchase for my jobs. But I also want to order things that come to my warehouse that I want to keep on hand in stock. And for that, I would need to switch to my warehouse account, which has a separate catalog. And let's do that from the Eastway store. And same rules apply here. I would want to add at least one item to this so it will show up when creating my purchase orders. And then I can either build out my entire catalog here, or I can kind of build as I go per purchase order. And those will add to the catalogs here. Okay, let me check my notes before we move forward. Okay, we are good. So now we have our catalogs. We have items in our catalogs, and we are ready now to start creating purchase orders. There are two types of purchase orders you can create: job purchase orders and warehouse purchase orders. And we're going to do some scenarios now of adding a purchase order to a job. So let's go to our schedule. Let's say for this appointment I have on the board, this service call, I need to order a part. So I will go to the job itself by clicking into the job. And maybe my technician called and says, hey, I need to go pick up a part from the supplier for this job I'm currently working on. And, this is where you would be able to then make that purchase order, send it to the supplier, and have your technician go pick it up. To do this, you will want to navigate to the purchase orders section, and then you have the option to create a new purchase order. Or if this is an item you just ordered, you can copy any previous purchase order in your system, and it'll save you some time because it'll already have all the items that you needed. For today's example, let's make a new purchase order. This is for this job, so it is a job purchase order. And we know we're going to order from Anderson Supply from the job account because I want to see the catalog under my job account. And then click next. We're going to have my technician go pick this up. So we'll go ahead and select the Eastway store, which is right down the street, and click next. Now we will create a purchase order, and this is in build mode. This is what the purchase order looks like on desktop. I'll show an example of what it looks like on the mobile app in just a little bit. But since we did all that groundwork, now this part is super easy. We already have our supplier, which account it is, the person who will be fulfilling this order at the parts counter, and now we just need to make some selections. What is the desired pickup date? If you're ordering this kind of early in the morning, maybe it can be ready by afternoon time. So you can set the date to today. Then we need to add items from our catalog. So we'll click Add Item from Catalog. And here's the catalog that we built. So this is our job account for Anderson Supply. I know that I need a filter for today's job, and I need part number 2 and part number 3. This is now just what do you need? Add them. You'll see them added to your cart on the side here. And when you have all the items that you need, you'll hit Review PO, and that will then add them to the purchase order. These are the items that I need to purchase for this part number 2. I know that I need 2 of them, so I'll go ahead and update the quantity for that. And then we're good to go there. Now, let's say that there's an item, either there's an item that I don't have and I need it, or I'm doing the process where every single item I'm adding new because I'm going to build this supplier catalog as I go per job. You will want to use the Add Custom Line Item option here. So now let's add an item, which will be for this job, but we're going to click Add Custom Line Item. And we will add this as, let's say custom item 1. And right here, this is where you will add to supplier catalog. And let's say this is a $100 item, and click add. That has added this to this purchase order, but has now added also to my catalog. So next time I need to order this part, I'll have it instead of needing to do custom line item. All right, so here's all the items that we need to order. We're gonna scroll down. If you want so these notes right here, this is going to be visible to who is fulfilling this. So, they're going to receive this purchase order and they'll see notes if you need anything special in here. The terms that we set are already here and you can sign it. I know a lot of places require a signature. So, I'm making this, so I'll sign it myself. And now we will save an email. If you are not ready to send this quite yet, maybe you're just mocking it up, hit save, and it will not send it quite yet. If we're ready to send it, we'll save an email. Who do we need this to go to fulfill this order? Whoever's working the parts counter, and submit. Now that purchase order has been sent to my supplier, they will be able to fulfill that order. And I see that this is in a submitted status. Let's say your technician goes out, they get the part, they install it, everything's good. Now you can come in and mark this as, received. Well, there's any status that makes sense for this. So maybe we want to put that this is done and just a closed purchase order. You have the option to click on the PDF icon to see what it looks like as a PDF. This is what it will look like for your supplier when they receive it. And you can resend it from here with the little mail icon and see the last time that you sent this to the supplier. You can hover over and see a timestamp there. If they said they never got it, you could say, no, I sent it to you on the 15th at 1:28 p.m. I have it right here. Okay. And so we have officially created a job purchase order and sent it to our supplier. Let's say that that was fulfilled and we marked it as closed. Another scenario is now creating a warehouse purchase order. This would be something that is not connected to a job. This is stuff we're going to keep on hand in our warehouse. Now, to do this, I recommend going to the purchase order list. To get here, you will go to Jobs, Purchase Order List. It's the last option at the bottom. Now, the purchase order list, just in general, this is a great place to go and see all your purchase orders in your system. You can search by status, and you can also just type in the purchase order number, which in our system, you have a job number, job 1234. And then if you create an invoice, it's I dash the job number 1234. If you have a purchase order, it's PO dash the job number. So PO dash 1234. Type in the job number and you'll be able to pull up the purchase order from here. We want to now order for our warehouse. So we're going to click new purchase order in the top right. And this is a warehouse purchase order. It's not connected to a job. And we'll go ahead and choose our warehouse account. So we pull from our warehouse catalog from Anderson Supply and click next. It's the same location. It is the Eastway store. And, oh, I meant to select. So the first one we did was pickup. Let's switch this to delivery just so you can see what that looks like too. So I want these warehouse items delivered to, my location. So we have delivery selected here. Delivery location we need to set. So I'm going to click and select from my delivery locations, which we set up on that settings page. So let's say we're going to send it to our Texas shop and save. And then warehouse manager, who is the contact that we want. If you're going to call me at this number if you have questions. And then 2-day shipping, the options you put in the delivery methods will show up here. So 2-day shipping is fine. And the desired delivery date, let's say I'd like to have it at least by Tuesday of next week. Payment terms, set that to whatever it is. And then just a pro tip, you can name your purchase orders if you want or need to. You can add a name and then you'll see the purchase order number dash whatever name you give it. And so that may be able to remind you what purchase order this is if it is a special one. Okay, so now we want to order parts for the warehouse. So we'll go ahead and click Add Items from Catalog. That will now open our warehouse account. And, I need to go ahead and resupply this item and this item. So now we're going to click Review. And maybe you like to order multiple at a time. So we'll go ahead and get 5 of these and 10 of these. Just change the quantity. And then we're good to go. I'll go ahead and sign this saying I do want to purchase these, and we'll save an email. We'll send this to our parts counter. Maybe for the warehouse it's different and you would have added a different contact, and submit. That now is sent to the supplier. They see who it's from, they've got the purchase order, and they are able to fulfill that. Since we selected delivery, now they will be able to know where to deliver it to and send it to you. And then the warehouse purchase order we just created is right here, so we can see this was submitted. Maybe I want to see all of mine that are in a submitted status. And now here are all my purchase orders. So I'm kind of like waiting for stuff to come in. That item comes in, I can come right back to here and mark this as received. And so then if you look for historical record, did we end up getting that? You can come here, type in the purchase order number or the job number, and find that right away from here. All right, so that is ordering for the warehouse. And then now let's see, what does this look like if I need to order parts as a technician out in the field? So we're going to go to our mobile view. Let's pop a little refresh. And let's say I want to order some parts for this job with Emily Davis. I'm a technician in this scenario. I'm holding my tablet and I will tap on this appointment. And I need to order a part, so I'm going to create a purchase order. So I'll go down and tap Purchase Orders. And then we'll tap New. This is going to be for this job, so we'll make a job purchase order. Select my supplier. And now everything's kind of the same in terms of like what you're selecting. So Anderson Supply, we'll go ahead and order from this Eastway store. So we'll select that. And we'll go pick it up. Maybe it's right down the street, and we'll hit create. Now I'm showing here is the supplier. And then to order items, I will just tap add items. And now this is the folder that has all of the, stuff in it. If when you're creating this catalog, you want to put it in different folders and really get super organized, you can do that. And then you'll see those folders here. So let's say I need this train part and this part number 12. Add whatever you need for this job and tap add. You can move these around if you want to or need to. Oops, I accidentally clicked. Just click and drag and let go. And then you are able to, same thing as before, put notes. Let's get a signature. And let's send this. We'll send it to the parts counter and send. And there we go. We can see this is now in a submitted status. And when that info comes in, I can just come back to the purchase orders page and mark this as received. And I can do that all right from here from the mobile app. All right. So there are 3 more sections, 3 more topics before we get into our Q&A. We're going to check on the purchase order from the office, learn how to upload a supplier catalog, and then you can add items from your supplier catalogs into your price book, if that is an option you want to do. So the first one, so we just made a purchase order from the mobile app as a technician. If I want to check on that in the office, let's go back to the schedule page. And the job that we just ordered that part from, maybe I'm literally just got off the phone with my technician. I can hover over and then click on the job. And I know we just created a purchase order for this job. So we'll scroll down and here it is. So this is, as soon as that's made out in the field, you can see that now in the office from here. Everything that we have talked about has been manually creating this in your system. You can type everything in, save it, and manage everything manually, which is great, but it does take a lot of time. So, you might be thinking, I've got 10,000 parts. Like it's going to take me a year to enter this into my system. So we do have some shortcuts. We do have some options for you. If you are able to get an Excel file with all of your documentation of the name of the part, the model number, the cost, the pricing. I know for some of my customers, for their suppliers that they purchased a lot of stuff from all the time, they just go to the supplier and say, "Hey, can you guys send me an Excel file of the last 6 months of my purchase history?" They send that to you, and then you are able to submit that to our data team. To do this, you can go to the Help Center and then you can reach out to customer support and just let them know, hey, I have an Excel file. I would like you to load this as a supplier catalog, and here is the Excel file. Now, it can't be a PDF, it can't be a Word document. It does need to be an Excel file. And then we also provide templates as well. So if you're like, I've got the info in an Excel file, but I'm not sure if it has all the info that you guys are going to need. We will supply you with a Excel file that you can then add to. And maybe that's easier for you. You can come in, you can copy and paste stuff and kind of curate that Excel file, submit it to customer support. They get that to the data team, and then we will like load it into your system, just like we would have done with your initial data, when you signed up. So that's an option. If you want to save some time, you can load supplier catalogs into your system. Also, if you have items, well, I'm not going to go too far into this, but if you are interested in another time saver as it relates to purchase orders and suppliers, then you can go to Help and you can look for Enhanced Price Books powered by Pricebook Digital. This is just kind of a pro tip. This is something that is available. It is an additional cost. It's not included natively in your subscription, but just quickly, if you go to this article, Enhanced Price Books, you can learn more about this. But basically, this feature is something that we offer to contractors who just want supplier information like supplier catalogs and price book items to just be pulled from their suppliers and added to their account. So this will allow you to take from the real stores that you purchase from. We will collaborate with them to take the pricing, the supplier information, like the items that you purchase from, and collect that info to then put that into your system. It will enrich your price book with the items that you purchase from your supplier, and it will create supplier catalogs that are a one-to-one copy of what you're purchasing. And then it also creates templates, so like proposal templates with those items, including matchups of systems that you may sell. And so that makes the copy feature really powerful. You can just copy, go to your list of proposals, and then pull from those and copy. And you'll know that the pricing for that is real-time pricing from the suppliers that you purchase from. So if you're worried about time and how long it might take to manually create everything, Enhanced Price Books is kind of a solution for that. And you can go here to learn more about that. Again, just search Enhanced Price Books powered by Pricebook Digital. Okay, the last thing I'm going to show you is how to add Pricebook item, or sorry, how to add supplier catalog items from the catalog and pull them into your price book. To do this, let's go to More Applications, Price Book, My Price Book. And then when you're adding a product, so let's say I have an item that is in my supplier catalog, which is going to be available when I'm creating purchase orders, but I also want that same item available in my price book, so I can add that to my invoices. To do this, click Add Product, select the product type. Let's say that it's a part, so I'm going to make a single part only. And right here it says search for existing part. And so if I am looking for, and I have part, number 4. If you look under the source, it will tell you where this is being pulled from. And here is part number 4 from Anderson Supply. So this is a scenario that I want to sell this item on an invoice, but I also want it to be the same exact info and price and everything as the supplier catalog that I'm about to order from. So I can select that, and it'll now, I'm basically done. It pulled in the cost, the markup, the info. I just need to tell it, where do you want to save this in your price book? So we'll have this saved in my parts catalog. And then what income account do you want this connected to? So that means the revenue of this, where do I want that revenue to sync in QuickBooks? We'll set this as my income job account and click save. Now it's a little bit of a time saver. If you went in and manually created all these items in your supplier catalog, now you're going to go into your price book and you want to manually create them there as well. This is just a way to save time by pulling them in from the supplier catalog. Okay, that is all the information we have for today's session. I hope that you learned something. We're going to move to our Q&A now, but I just want to say thank you so much for joining. My name is Mark with WEX Field Service Management, and this has been Suppliers and Purchase Orders.